to start with some character introductions. Just want you to tell us all very quickly who you are, and then run back over, for the sake of everyone else as well, what happened in session 0, and then I can help to basically get you to where we're going to start today. So, first up is Truyeg.
Hello. My name is Truyeg Sunweaver Norton. Middle-aged, not in energy though. I'm a 8-foot hill giant, and I follow Order of the Gilded Sun. And I'm pretty well-meaning.
So last session, you got a letter from the Order of the Gilded Sun, specifically the High Priestess, Helion Hjulvorn. You were summoned to the capital for work, a job, and you said goodbye to your family, to your tribe. You were given some gifts along the way. You were given some golden berries that have been known to heal ailments. You were given a shield, scaled shield that was clearly from some form of powerful monster. And you took with you your sun-shaped amulet that you've had for a little while. So you made your way down the mountains, took a long, few weeks long journey to the capital. You made your way to the Ivory Keep, and you were greeted by some guards. You showed them the letter, told them you were there to see the Order of the Gilded Sun. Someone from the religion came out to meet you, took you inside, and took you to the throne room. Boris.
Yes.
The bastard.
There he is. Chaps, I am Boris, Boris the Bastard. I have been in a small village out on sort of like the outskirts, just doing mercenary work, and I have received a pretty hefty sum to come and do some work in the city. So, yeah, I'll be accepting that offer.
You as well take a pretty long journey to make your way to the capital. You get there, once again, you head towards the Ivory Keep, and you were greeted by the guards on the door. And you told them that the commander of the army that you had been working for as a mercenary had sent you here. He'd given you a little note, and basically they look through that, pass through, and you're also taken up to the throne room. Ignatius.
Hello, I'm Ignatius Cinderfist. I am a fire genasi drunken monk who has a massive drinking problem that I've developed over the last couple of years. I'm now very angry at everything.
So you were, by your friend Derek, who you currently live with, you were given a wanted poster. Not like a wanted, someone was wanted. You were given a call for aid kind of poster. And it details how the capital needs capable individuals to undertake a task. Since your life has been off the rails for a fair while now, he encouraged you to go do that, and you eventually obliged with the promise of gold, honor, a chance to prove oneself to the kingdom. And you were already obviously in the capital, Eldrathus. So you make your way towards the Ivory Keep, and you are greeted on the door by some guards. However, all you have is the poster to show for yourself. So the guards turn to you, and there's on the day itself, there is a collection of people there, and they're asking people to prove themselves as worthy before they let them into the Ivory Keep. What do you do?
I push my way to the front with my cigar smoking and taking a quick sip of my whiskey, and I just say, "What have I got to do to get in there?" Go on. Tell me. I ain't got time
Well,
to
sir,
waste.
you've got to prove yourself as capable to take on this task. We can't just let any ruffian in here. And he kind of looks you up and down after he says the word ruffian. He says, how do we know you're gonna even be helpful for this task?
Can I look in the crowd I'm with? Who's the biggest fucker around?
So I say big crowd. I'd say there's probably about 15, 20 people kind of either waiting or talking to the guards, trying to get in. There is one bloke, probably about 6'5", of decent stocky build. He's got a sword at his side. He's probably visually the strongest looking one there.
I want to get about 15 feet away from him, and I'm going to drunkenly stumble towards him, punch him in the face, backflip over, and then flurry of blows him from behind.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to roll an attack to hit him first.
Oh god.
9. Okay. So you don't catch him clean, but you do make contact, but we'll say that only did 1 damage. Make an acrobatics check to jump over him. Okay, so you very cleanly plant your back foot, and considering you're not the largest person around, you jump maybe 2.5 times your height, and in kind of a flip, land over facing towards his back as he's kind of taken aback and surprised by the fact he's just been attacked essentially by some drunk bloke. And then with your flurry of blows, that's an attack roll as well, isn't it?
Yeah, you spend a key point and I make 2 more attacks.
Yeah, so make 2 attacks for me. Perfect. Okay, can you roll damage on those both? Yeah, so you land the other side, and with your lead hand kind of back fist him across the jaw, making much better contact this time. And then as you're coming through with your right hand, you go right for his gut, and he immediately keels over and kind of flops to the floor. And you start to see other people in this group start to get a bit rowdy, start to turn on each other, and they kind of curse under their breath and very quickly hurry you through to the Ivory Keep, as they're now going to try and stop a potential brawl starting out front. But you get hurried through to the Ivory Keep, and you get taken up to the throne room. Lastly, we have Ricky Bobby. The best theme song of...
As I'm sure you already know, gentlemen, I am Ricky Bobby. I'm just the greatest there is. I've been selected to go on a world-saving mission, and I'm the leader of this group.
So Ricky is a guard at the palace, so he was called to his guards meeting in the morning, and the Hand of the King was giving out orders that there was a task to take on. The rest of the guards were quite reluctant after hearing what this task was, but Ricky pisses excellence, so naturally put himself forward first and foremost. Then went and got an assortment of different gifts from the armourer in the Ivory Keep, who is Wendell Cross is his name, and he's a quartermaster for the Royal Guard. He gave you an assortment of things, gave you some potions, as well as soldering a small black stone into the bottom of your katana. But you, after a little while of filling your morning, eventually make your way to the throne room as well. and you all find yourself eventually stood in the throne room of the Ivory Keep. And you're stood there in silence for a little while. It's gold. The room is golden in many different ways. The throne, the statue, stained glass windows, everything kind of exudes royalty, riches, excellence.
Opulent.
There are, yes, opulence, that's a great word. There are red crimson banners hanging from the ceiling, and there is King Alar sat on the throne, whispering to his hand, Edric Vane. And then there is a tiefling woman stood off to the side, kind of impatiently waiting. It's just the four of you stood there, and eventually a guard comes through the door, goes up to the king, and you kind of briefly hear him whisper, "I'm afraid, sir, this is all we've got." And the king kind of nods, and the guard walks back down, leaves the room, shuts the door, and the king stands up from his throne. Hope. The word lingers in the air like a heavy sigh, as though it has not been spoken in these halls for an age. King Alar stood in front of his throne, gazes at you before him with weary yet resolute eyes. His voice, though regal, carries the weight of 1,000 burdens, and each word is steeped in gravity. I had hoped, he continues, his gaze sweeping across the party, that the blood of this kingdom would not be stained again by the dark arts, that we could turn away from the shadow of our past and rebuild. Hope is slipping away from our grasp. There is a disease festering beneath the surface of this kingdom, a poison born of betrayal, ambition, and damnation. For many years, we have thought the darkness beneath us was sealed and forgotten, but I tell you now, there is a power in the depths that has not only awakened, but seeks to tear us apart. His eyes flicker towards this table over here, and it's laid with maps. One clearly marked towards the kind of southwest of the kingdom. Veldrin Zar, a lich in the service of Lolth, has returned. This creature seeks to resurrect the forgotten drow city of Aloreth Nail, buried for centuries beneath our feet. Once it was a city of power and secrets, a place where drow sorcerers and assassins plotted their dark plans under the shadow of Lolth herself. Now it lies in ruin, its halls crumbled, its catacombs hollow, yet Veldrin Zar has found it again, and with it the means to bring terror back to our world. The city pulses with ancient magic, dark and vile, that even the gods themselves feared. If it is restored, if the dark power is reignited, the balance in this world could shift irreparably. We cannot allow that to happen. We must stop him. I know not what drives him, whether it be lust for power or a thirst for vengeance, but I do know this. His reach is long, and his plans are more cunning than we have yet fathomed. He must be stopped, and I believe you are the ones to do it. He nervously looks each of you in the eye as he says this, as if kind of measuring your resolve, your strength, and your power, I guess. Ignatius, you see a glint of recognition in his eyes as he looks at you. And obviously, Ricky Bobby.
Looking around, by the way, do I see like a drinks cabinet in this place by any chance?
There is not a drinks cabinet in the throne room, no.
All right, I'll just take a swig of wine then.
Okay. The path before you is fraught with danger. You will descend into the Underdark, where few dare to tread, and confront this abomination in his forsaken lair. You will not face only the horrors of the deep, but the very darkness that corrupts the soul itself. Do not expect mercy from him, and above all, remember, You are not just fighting for your lives, you are fighting for the very soul of this kingdom. I have dispatched my most trusted allies to prepare you for this task. Princess Myla of Selendor has offered her aid. She was here personally mere an hour or two, and on behalf of the Moonveil Society, they have provided you with potions of protection and magical wards to safeguard your passage. Their spells will cloak you from the eyes of Lolth's spies, and the potions will shield you from the toxic air and the dangers of the deep places. These protections will buy you time, but only time. The rest is up to you. He motions towards some documents on the table, and Eldrick Vane runs over, collects them, and hands them to him. These factions too have provided valuable insight. The Order of the Gilded Sun reports there's growing unrest within the Drow ranks. They seek to rise to the surface with immediate effect. He then kind of flicks to the next report. The Iron Talons have had eyes in the deepest corners of the Underdark for years. Their spies speak of strange movements in the shadows. Drow caravans moving towards Alorith Nail, carrying ancient relics and forbidden texts. There are whispers of rituals to summon dark powers, of alliances with demons and fiends. They do not know Veldrin's full plan, but they do know this. He grows stronger. He pauses for a second and then says, "This royal edict is issued to you, and with it the full resources of the kingdom. You are the kingdom's last hope. You are entrusted with the fate of Aeloria. The fate of the realm lies in your hands." His voice softened slightly, his eyes flickering with a brief moment of vulnerability. "If you succeed, you will not only save Aeloria, but ensure the survival of all of us. But if you fail..." He doesn't finish the thought. Lastly, he says, "Do you have any further questions?"
How much are we getting paid?
The pay will be to your liking. I can assure you that each of you will receive 10,000 gold for completing this task, as well as prospective titles, honors. He turns to you, Truyeg, and says, "A position within the Order of the Gilded Sun will be offered to you. This can be in the mountains if you so wish to return there, or here in the capital." Boris, he turns back to you as you were the one speaking. "If you so wish, a position within the military, serving under Lord General Falkrin Daylor, the commander of our army." Ignatius Cinderfist, he turns to you and says, "I did not know of your coming here. I was not previously informed. However, I know there is perhaps things that you wish to undo, and maybe a position you wish to retake. If you so wish, that will also be offered to you." And then Ricky, he turns to you and says, "If you complete this task, a place amongst my Lions Guard will be offered to you." And you know that the Lions Guard are like the king's personal task force, the most elite standing a guard can have, essentially. And he says, "I hope these rewards will be sufficient for the task you are about to take."
I'll just say, throw in a bottle of your finest plum brandy as a down payment, and I'm in.
That will be done.
Fuck yeah!
What is the criteria that we do this and then we can get out and we know that we've done what we need to do?
You must kill Veldrin Tsar.
And bring you his head, or?
His head will do, yes.
Okay.
We must use our initiative.
Is it just us four, or are you're gifting us companions, or?
I had expected for more men than this, to be honest.
We are the kingdom's last hope.
From word I received, the calls we made out to different areas of the kingdom, as well as the posters which we posted, yielded, let's say, a less than sufficient band of people. However, I believe, from the look of you and with Ricky's guidance here, I have no doubts in your ability to get this done. He then points to the red tiefling who's been awfully bored, kind of kicking her feet throughout all of this, and introduces her. He says, "This is Zara Ashthorn, a member of the Iron Talons. She will lead you to the entrance to the Underdark, which the Iron Talons have made, which will give you the clearest and easiest path down to Alorith Nail. From there, she will have to return. However, she will guide you to this entrance."
I'll go to. Do you have any idea what we might expect down there?
Quite a lot of, weird things. The plants will sometimes talk to you. They're mostly friendly, though.
Are you getting paid half the money for doing half a job?
I'm getting paid fuck all money for doing a bit of a job.
Boris says nothing.
The king says to you guys, you have some time today before you wish to leave. You can roam Eldrathus. Zara will be waiting for you at the edges of the city for when you wish to leave. A down payment of 1,000 gold into each of your hands, and says, if there's anything else you wish to do, then this is yours. However, you must leave by dusk.
Do I recognise, by the way, the that cloak, whatever that cloak colour was? Do I recognise the outfit to be from anything?
Make a history check for me. Yes. So you recognise that to be the cloak and the sigil on it to be of the Moonveil Society, which he was speaking of earlier, which is the... You know what? I'll pull up the map so I can show you this. Oh, you recognise the Moonveil Society to be a society based in Selendor up here. Selendor's ruled by Princess Myla, who is not the daughter of the king, but is a princess through other means. And it's a very secretive, mystical society. Kind of people talk about them in Eldrathus and the South in general in kind of like a hushed whisper. And everyone's a little bit wary of them, but they do serve the crown and the kingdom. But everyone finds them a little bit weird and a little bit unsettling, to be honest.
Are they mystical because of like arcane or more like divine sort
Arcane,
of?
arcane,
Arcane.
yeah. Arcane.
Do I know if they worship Almanator? Or how do I pronounce the god?
Up there, they don't know. Well, there is a in across all of the cities, the Order of the Gilded Sun has a presence, and there is a temple up there. But Selendor's known to be one of the places that isn't particularly keen, or it's not particularly present up there. So you all go to leave the throne room, and this hooded figure, kind of from out underneath its cloak, passes you each a potion with a green liquid in it and encourages you to drink.
Okay.
Then I'll give it a sniff.
Does everyone drink?
Well, no, I want to give it a sniff first and see if I recognise it.
I drink it.
What have we been told this is?
We haven't been told
We haven't.
anything.
You've been told that this is a potion. The king said to you that the Moonveil Society were going to offer you potions of protection and magical wards, and this potion is to shield you from the toxic air of the Underdark. That's what you've been told.
I drink it.
I think as a mercenary, I know a bit better than to just put something in my mouth. So can I roll some sort of perception or investigation, or I think this is athletics. Has to be athletics.
We'll just call it a perception check. We'll say a perception. Each of you can roll a perception check if you so wish to. But I mean, Truyeg, you said that you just neck it, so
necking it.
You've already drank it.
Bloody hell.
That's an unnatural one. So, Boris, you can tell absolutely niche about this. So, do you drink it? Ricky, you're not particularly familiar with potions and whatnot. However, you can tell that this doesn't smell toxic or anything like that, and it seems fine to you. It doesn't kind of give you any danger signs.
Yeah, I just drink it.
So you all drink the potions eventually, and then an arm is raised up. Again, you don't even see the actual like arm. It's so covered in this like oversized long cloak. You just see a cloaked arm raise up, and in a language that none of you understand, some mutterings are made, and a kind of glow extends from the hand out to each of you. Above table, this is basically a ward to protect you from like the scrying of Lolth's spies down there, essentially.
Excellent.
And you come to the exit and are looking over the city of Eldrathus. So this up here is the Ivory Keep, obviously. And the city of Eldrathus, kind of, as you can see, comes down here and extends out to the kind of edges of the walled city. So is there anything any of you wish to do before you want to leave?
Yes. I want to find a local who can do prints, but like really, really big prints. And make a fucking humongous print of my face that says hero above it. And
From
at the
what you
bottom
know
right,
of-
and at the bottom right, it'll have my email attached to it.
Okay. So from what you know of Eldrathus, the more artsy areas of the city are in the lower districts, down the bottom of the map here, towards the edge of what you'd call like the main part of the city. So that's where somewhere like that would be.
I'll ask them if... Wait, how long do we have, Boris?
A few hours.
You have a few hours, but I'm not gonna.
Okay,
it takes a while to traverse the city. I'm not gonna say you have like infinite amount of time here.
Tell them I'll meet them when we're meant to be meeting, when we're meant to be leaving.
Do any of you respond?
Yeah, I'll say. I'm just gonna look out because you say we've got like it's a view, right? I got a nice view of the city.
You got a lovely view.
Yeah, and I'm gonna kind of like put my arms out and say, Amanator, bright sun above, guide us with your warmth. Through your light our spirits soar, bless us now and evermore. And I'll say, let's get printing.
Okay, so yeah, you're sat up
you-
there taking in the view. Ricky, you're starting to head down towards the lower districts. Ignatius?
I don't know where it is in the city, but I want to go to wherever the main temple of Amanator is, and I want to just not go into the temple, but I want to go to the grounds, like the gardens and stuff all around the temple, and just find a quiet space.
Okay, so the main temple in the city of Amanator is up here, at the back of the Ivory Keep. You know your way around the Ivory Keep fairly well, and you know your way to the temple, and you make your way to the gardens, where there are a few acolytes and monks sat around, and you see a nice bench underneath a tree in bloom.
Yeah, I want to like put my hood up so no one can recognize me and like no one can see who I am. Head over to that bench and just sit on it for a second, and just sort of to myself, just sort of like say out loud but quite quietly, we ain't spoken a while, but I hope that I can redeem myself by doing this. I'm doing it for the city. I'm doing this for you. I'm doing this for Emily. and watch over me, I guess. And then I'll sort of sit there for a few minutes and just sort of take in the quiet atmosphere.
Yeah, you haven't been to a holy place in quite a while now. It would be going on 10 years. You feel an odd warmth as you kind of enter the grounds and retread these steps that you've taken many a time before, but feel foreign to you now, considering it's been so long. And you feel some comfort and a warmth as you're sat there. Peace washes over you. Boris, is there anything you wish to do?
I think Boris, as someone who has been in sort of mercenary work and adventuring parties for as long as he could physically hold a sword, already from looking at these three people, one of them is drunk, one of them is an idiot, and the other one is some sort of religious. Religion is the furthest thing away from Boris, so he's actually not concerned with any of these people, and he's took them at face value. But I think I would like to hang back and go and find Zara. Is her name?
Zara Ashthorne. Yeah.
I would like to go and speak to Zara Ashthorne. I definitely that would pique Boris's interest, and I want to go find out a bit more about her.
Okay, so as you were all standing there, she is leaving the Ivory Keep and making her way to the edge of the city where she's going to wait for you. You can walk with her if you wish.
Oi.
Right, we'll come back to that. Fred, you have now made your way down to the lower districts. Nowadays, it's not a part of the city that you spend a lot of your time in. Since you became a Crimson Cloak and graduated from the Red Caps, you don't spend a lot of your time in the lower parts of the city. So you make your way down there and you kind of recognize where you're going, but you're not aware of all of the interesting markets and places dotted about. But you do make your way to a stall adorned with tapestries and like embroidered rugs and somewhere clearly where it's clearly an artistic place where you'd be able to get things made. And there is a tall, strong-standing elven woman manning the kind of stall.
I go up to her and I say, I've got an order from the king. It's going to be a big order. I need you to make a 100-foot by 100-foot tapestry of my face that says hero at the top, and then in the bottom right corner it needs to say ricky.bobby@outlook.com.
We don't get orders from the palace very often.
Yeah, but
down
this is
here.
there's not much time for talking because this is happening soon.
I mean, a tapestry of that size would take a week. The most we could do in a few hours is maybe a cloak or something of that size. But the tapestry you're asking for would take a week. And then she kind of dots her fingers a little bit and says something like that would cost 650, 700 gold.
Done. I will have it. Just. I don't know if I'll be back within a week, but just have it. Just go up. I'll let the guards know. Put it on the side of the castle for when I come back.
Okay, I shall take it up to the palace. As soon as it's ready, sir, I'll take it up to the palace.
I'll slide her over the what is it, 650, or can I roll for 650, or can I try and barter for a little bit less?
Said 650 to 700, so I can make you can make a persuasion check.
I can help pay if you need.
You're taking in the view. You're up by the palace.
I thought I followed him.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay. All right. You're following him
Oh,
around.
he followed me.
In silence.
Purchase.
Wait, Yeg, make a stealth check for me.
I,
Okay, Ricky, you've noticed this Goliath following you down to the lower city, but you haven't said anything. He's just been kind of following you, and as you're bartering with this woman, you hear over your shoulder, I can help you pay.
I'm still gonna carry on to try and barter to save us both a little bit of money.
Barter down to 625 for the tapestry, but that's the best price you're going to get. That is final price, not going any lower.
I turn to Truyeg and say, if you put 200 in, I'll put the rest.
I will give you 5 gold.
That's a 200.
I'll make it better. I'll put your email in the bottom left.
Okay. Deal.
Boom, we got a deal.
Immediately, she kind of shuts down the front of her stall. You can tell she's excited because she's never had an order of this sort and the amount of money being thrown around in the lower city before. So she immediately shuts her stall and you start hearing some banging, crashing in the back as she's clearly eager to get to work ASAP. So you have a look around, you walk for the next maybe like 5 minutes or so, and you get to a produce market. So there's veg, there's the rare occasion of a slain boar. Some of them are just kind of laid across the floor dead. Some of them are being cooked on a little fire. And then there's, veggies, stuff like that.
I was going to say, is there anywhere selling like almost pre-made things? Like it's like a supply pack. It's like rations, like military rations. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, like more like
Meals in a
a
pinch.
like a bit of a supermarket. Not a supermarket, but you know what I mean. where it has like more like stuff that you can like at this place where they are. Do they sell drinks there?
Yeah, there's drinks as well. It's a produce market, but there are stalls selling alcohol as well as kind of homemade,
like sandwiches in cling film kind of thing.
As you walk further down, there is a stall manned by a small halfling man. Is selling these kind of tied up with a tea towel, these little boxes. That's what's sat on his stall in front of him.
That's humble as fuck.
Are there multiple drink stands?
Yeah, there's a few. There's some that are specifically ale, some that are kind of liquors of sorts, and then some that are they're more like juices, more kind of homemade smoothie-esque kind of liquids.
Is there any fizzy drinks there?
There is not a Pepsi or a Coke stand currently, no.
Fuck, I was going to ask for Mountain
Dew. There is a homemade lemonade stand.
And buy one.
Yeah, okay. That'll cost you a silver.
Could I also buy a bottle of plum alcohol, please?
Plum alcohol. Okay, you come to another stall. This one is manned by a dragonborn woman. And she has she has an assortment of different coloured liquors. Yeah, these purple bottled liquids with little corks in the top. So that will cost you a single gold.
Okay.
I just wanted to find sandwiches for the group, 4 different sandwiches.
So you go to the stall that was manned by the halfling with the little tea towel wrapped up boxes.
Yep.
And he explains to you that these are essentially lunch boxes. So they have a sandwich in them, an apple, and an assortment of nuts.
I love that. And are they different sandwiches? Are they all like, you know?
He picks you out 4 that are different sandwiches. So
Yeah, amazing.
One's like a chicken salad, one's
Yeah.
a ploughman's, and one's a ham and cheese, and then one is a BLT.
Love that.
So that'll cost you a gold and a silver.
Gold and a silver.
That's probably taken up your time until it starts to get to dusk. So you two have got to start heading for the entrance to the kingdom. We'll cut back to Boris.
I'm gonna walk like not as if I'm hiding per se, because I'm a big bloke and there's no hiding. But I'm gonna sort of tail for just a brief amount of time, just to see sort of how she is, what she does, what she's doing.
Okay, so as you are walking behind her, it doesn't take very long for her to stop, like close to your feet necessarily, but to immediately throw a dagger about a foot in front of you. And she turns around and says, "You know it's rude to follow people."
So Zara Ashthorne, tell me, what's a lady like yourself working for the king for no money and doing half a job?
So she picks up her dagger and carries on walking towards the edge of the city. And she says, "I don't necessarily work for the king. I work for the Iron Talons, who in turn do, yes, work for the king. But I'm definitely not without money. For this job, I'm not being paid specifically, but the Iron Talons provide me with reasonable living."
And you didn't fancy, you know, the seamstress life or the waitress life, sitting in a tower waiting for Prince Charming to come find you?
Do I look like I'd be fitting in a tower waiting for someone?
Boris is going to remain stone-faced.
Yeah, she chuckles at that and says, "No, the life of the Iron Talons was chosen for me anyway. This was the only path I ever would have wanted to."
So do I, through my mercenary, what do I know about the group she's associated with?
Make a quick little history check for me. Do that with advantage, though. Wow. Thank God I gave you advantage on that one. The Iron Talons are essentially what is a spy network, but they're loyal to the crown. They essentially run themselves like a group of spies, a thieves guild. They do a lot of the dirty work of the crown, to be honest. Things that you wouldn't necessarily give to the army. Lots of things intelligence-based. A lot of them travel very far to other kingdoms outside of Aeloria. And the ones that are here, Eldrathus or in Aeloria full stop, are often working under orders in which they are essentially undercover somewhere. What you know of them from mercenary work and such is that they're fairly revered in terms of their abilities. They're known to be very good at what they do, but they're also known to not necessarily be the easiest group to deal with. Whilst they are loyal to the crown, they also aren't necessarily a group in which everything they do is clean and would necessarily be publicly approved, I guess.
I'm going to stop walking. I've been we're walking together like through the city. It's been pretty casual up until this point, but I'm going to fully stop where I'm standing and turn so I'm actually facing her and go, "You know, Zara, I've worked in a lot of sort of mercenary groups. I've worked with women, I've worked with men, I've worked with children, I've worked with Dragonborn. I don't care who you work for, what guild you belong to, or any of that shit. I'll do what I need to do."
Make me a intimidation check with advantage. Okay, so she kind of chuckles, clearly not too threatened by you, despite your size and presence, and says, I have no intention of getting in your way at all. I'm here to take you guys to the Underdark, and then I'm fucking off somewhere far away from here. I couldn't care less what you lot get up to. You're heading cross-country from Eldrathus to this little marker here, which is the Iron Talons entrance that they formed to the Underdark. And it takes you about an hour and a half, 2 hours to traverse the land here. None of you particularly familiar with this route, but Zara leads you. And you make your way there. You find something very underwhelming, to be honest. You find in amongst some trees, some rubble, and some hills, you find what is essentially a small black hole with about enough width for Truyeg, for example, being the biggest of the lot of you, for him to go at once, and maybe Ricky Bobby and Ignatius could go side by side, but it's a thin, unremarkable entrance to a tunnel. As you get there, Zara says, my work here's done now. They'll probably be here in a few hours, so hopefully when you guys are leaving. And then she literally just fucks off.
May the sun be with you.
Thanks for everything, Zara. You were a real great help.
On a positive note, I've got a sandwich for everyone, and I distribute.
And you are all stood at the mouth of this tunnel cave entrance. Are you guys going in? It's clear that they've not wanted to make this entrance particularly known or particularly easily findable. But it gets black down there. Like, from what you can see, it twists and turns, but it gets very dark very quick.
Who's going first? Shotgun on me.
Mate.
Okay, so marching order will be Ricky Bobby first. Who's going second?
I'll go second.
I will go second.
I'll go third if that's okay.
I'll go second.
Am I really going to do rock, paper, scissors?
Well, why do you need to go second? Just go third.
We get it. You're a mercenary. Get it. Shut up and play.
As you step beyond the last flickering light, the weight of the earth itself seems to press down on you. The air around you grows thick, damp, stale. There's a scent of minerals, decay, and something fungal. The darkness here is not just an absence of light, it's alive, seemingly. It stretches in all of the directions across the tunnel at this point and kind of swallows movement, everything around you. Your torches and spells push it back only so far, revealing kind of some jagged stones, the tunnels twisting ahead of you. It's a man-made tunnel at this point. You haven't come to anything natural. The walls, the rock around you kind of shimmers faintly with veins of minerals, but their glow is cold, not bright. And echoes seem to kind of slither through this cavern, dripping water, distant shuffles of creatures unknown, and the occasional deep groan of the earth seemingly shifting. Nature kind of twists at times. And you realize that you are in the belly of the world here, and you sense that something in the dark knows you have arrived. Eventually, you see more fungus kind of take over the tunnel, and the tunnel leads into, you can tell this is not man-made, this is natural. And you come to an open cavern surrounded with fungus. And you see off to your right, with a flame still burning, a campfire and a little homestead of sorts. And as you look in front of you, a singular drow woman stood there, unmoving, almost unbreathing, seemingly.
I'm going to make an just immediate perception check from where I am.
Okay, make a perception check. You notice that she has a short sword and a crossbow, both tied to her waist. And she moves. Just forward a step, but she moves towards you. Just as in the tunnel, everything seems to be moving, and it seems almost as if the cave itself is alive. The fungus around you is almost whispering to each other, and the walls themselves seem to kind of groan almost, but you can't tell if anything else is in here. She moves forward again.
Can I use my blowgun and fire directly in front of her as a warning, and then just say, no further?
You fire from your blowgun. I'll say at this point that you have kind of
I'll have moved up a little bit,
vaguely spread out ever so slightly. You fire a blowgun in front of her and say no more. She moves forward again.
Okay, I say Truyeg,
nothing.
you go first.
No.
I'm going to use command, and I'm going to say, stop!
So she fails. You see as Truyeg says, stop, a purplish light slowly trickles out of his mouth and makes its way across to the woman stood there. It coils around her feet, and you can see she almost tries to move, but doesn't.
You can apprehend her now.
If you want to make a perception check to see if there's anything unusual about her, then I'll allow that.
Yeah, I want to specifically look to see if she looks like she's alive, or if she's being or if she's fully autonomous and in control of herself.
Yeah, that's a great question. I was going to ask that.
Yeah.
Okay, can you make a perception check for me, please, sir? This is a drow woman stood in front of you, but her eyes are rolled into the back of her head. From her movements, the way she's standing, the way she's kind of swaying almost, you get the sense that she might not be in control of her own actions. And now, the little tendrils around her feet have dissipated, and she moves forward again.
Oh, God.
So that hits. You see this go into her leg, and her visibly kind of... And the trident disappears and snaps back into your hand, and she starts running at you. Can everyone please roll initiative for me?
Can I?
Wow, nat 20 on initiative, Truyeg.
I'm
That is
crazy.
a good roll.
It's a
that.
Minotaur, that.
A new campaign.
Where am I finding initiative?
At the top of your thing, Fred, it says initiative. Click on the...
Oh, I see.
Some other drow similar to her emerge from behind the mushrooms. She is going to go for you, Boris, because you hit her with the spear, and she is going to make a swing with her short sword. Does a 15 hit?
Well, that's a great question because my unarmored defense is...
So she just misses. So she takes a swing at you, and in her rage and a kind of damaged leg, she kind of misses her footing ever so slightly and misses you with the strike.
So I'm only going to move forward, a bit. Let's go here. I take up a fighting stance.
they're going to cast darkness. A darkness is cast over you here, and you lot cannot see
Excellent.
anything going on inside here. Drow is going to move into the darkness
Crazy.
and make an attack. Does a 22 hit you, Yeg?
It does.
That is 4 damage you take.
4 damage.
Does Yeg have to make a saving throw to hold concentration?
Thank you for reminding me. Yeg, can you make
Rough.
a saving throw, which would be a Constitution saving throw?
Constitution saving throw.
We're in the darkness. We can't see anything. Fuck. Okay.
You can't, though.
I am immediately gonna go into a rage.
Yeah.
Which sort of visually, literally looks like God of War when Kratos just goes fucking beast mode. Like everything it goes up that next level. And when I go into a rage, my subclass Ancestral Protectors activates.
Yeah.
And that looks like, well, I know it's in the darkness, but I think seeing as they're sort of ghostly figures through the darkness, the people around me we're very close together, so you can barely see. A small tiefling boy appears next to me, a human woman, and a sort of middle-aged half-elf all appear next to me. These like ghost-like figures, and I am attacking with my. I'm on a full two-handed, just fucking cleaver swing through this fog.
Okay, can you make an attack roll with disadvantage for me? A 9. I believe that does not hit. 30. So you walk 30 forwards. In the meantime, you do take an attack of opportunity. 8 damage you receive for that.
Then I'll use all my movement to get up there.
Yeah.
And then I will use my action to make an unarmed strike, and I'll use my charger ability.
That hits. 9 damage. Retaliatory attack at you, Ignatius.
He has a +2 to his AC, remember this.
Which, definitely misses.
That's my fucking boy, Yeg.
And now Ricky Bobby is up, unless he's off shagging his missus.
I am here.
Oh,
manage the rules.
excellent.
See this drow in front of me, and I hit him with a two-handed katana swing and say, I'm about to go apeshit on your ass.
Roll for an attack.
Yeah.
A 15 just hits, so can you roll for damage on that one for me? 9 damage to drow 5. As you swing your katana down, gripping it for the first time in a kind of combat situation since what happened earlier today, the black stone that is embedded into the hilt of your katana just ever so slightly starts to vibrate. The drow start to disintegrate ever so slightly. Bits of flesh just start to kind of fall off these drow, exposing unbleeding, dark flesh. Yeg, it's your go.
Truyeg's gonna panic a little bit in the darkness, he's gonna grab his mace, wildly swing it in front of him, shouting, "Give me light, a monitor, guide me, or kill me!"
Nice.
I'm afraid you miss. Oh no, sorry, you hit. You do hit. Can you roll damage for me? 4 damage. So you take a hit with your mace into the drow and hit into where some flesh has just fallen off this drow. Again, no blood comes out, but you take a further chunk out the side of this drow's stomach. This one is going to take a swing at you, Yeg, and it misses.
Mrs. Idiot.
That definitely hits.
Okay.
7 piercing damage. So you pick up your trident in 2 hands and you thrust it through the middle of this drow's chest. And it goes right the way through. And its mouth opens, but no sound escapes from its mouth. And it just disintegrates in front of you.
I'm gonna punch the drow in the face.
Go ahead.
Clock 'em.
You miss your first 2. In your kind of drunken stupor, you kind of misjudge the distance a little bit. But with the last one, you clock it clean in the jaw. And its head literally removes from its body and goes flying in the air. Again, no blood exuding from any kind of any flesh that's now exposed. And before the head even hits the ground, the drow burns up and evaporates.
I am going to wildly swing my mace once more, shouting, "Blindness will not stop the light." No, I'm not going to do anything.
Okay. Ignatius?
I'm gonna punch him in the face.
Yeah. Could you do that for me? And you crit. Okay, can you roll your crit damage? Yeah, the thing's fucked, cunt. The thing.
Cool. I'm gonna run
Again.
over to drow 2.
You punch it, gets eviscerated. Ricky.
Freaky fucking Barbie. Swing one-handed at the drow, but
Yeah.
not actually hit it, in hopes that he flinches. I'll then throw it to the other hand, and the way he flinched, I'm going to hit him in the side.
23 hits. Can you roll damage? 7. So it kind of flinches to one side, and then you cleave across with your other hand, and it chops it square in half, gets eviscerated, and the darkness is gone. And the next round starts, and the disintegration at this point takes a hold of these last 2 drow, and before any of you can do anything else, they burn up, completely disappearing before you.
You're welcome, ladies.
We all helped.
I look over to Boris and be like, "You got some ghosts fighting for you or some shit? The fuck is that?"
It's none of your fucking business, drunk boy.
Okay, do you all follow the path further down?
Yeah, I do.
Yes, I do.
I think at this point Boris is just fucking fuming.
So you follow the cavern down and you come to a luminescent cavern with a bright blue river running through. There's an earthy scent, a damp smell, and something faintly sweet, almost like an overripe fruit. And the walls and ceiling are coated in this web of bioluminescent fungi. A mushroom-like figure moves slowly but deliberately towards the edge of the rock across from you. A tingling sensation brushes against your mind. Words unspoken, but they enter your mind. It says to you, "You cannot enter this room.
Nice and easy.
You cannot enter this room." One by one, you notice more of these fungal-like creatures emerge to the edge of the river. They all say in unison, "You cannot enter this room."
I think the idea of having to go into a rage again so soon is actually slightly worrying for Boris. And he's not shook, but he sort of signals to everyone like, right, we need to sort this out fast. I'm not sure if we can do another combat again.
How do we get to pass?
You cannot enter this room.
There's always a deal to be made.
This guy's a bitch.
You see the funguses along the river swaying and moving in unison, whispering to each other. Again, in your minds, you cannot enter this room. You cannot enter this room. You keep hearing, like, chanting in your mind.
They're not looking at a specific one of the four of us. They're just talking to all of us at once.
They're talking to all of you. And again, you hear, you cannot enter this room.
I have some lemonade and some alcohol in my bag. Would you like it?
You cannot enter this room.
Oh,
This
this is the worst riddle in the world.
I'm scratching my head. I'm like,
I want to punch Ignatius in the face to wake him up.
I'll happily take the point of damage, and I'll be like, is it because there's not mushroom?
When you say the word mushroom, you see a... let me do it here. You see a flick of magic, and the purple opens up, and a staircase appears. You lot, I put in, and I had to give you the most obvious clue of all time to get it. You lot are rubbish. You make your way down for about 10, 15 minutes, and eventually you get to the bottom, and once again it's a tunnel. And you're making your way through the tunnel, and eventually the tunnel widens, opening into a vast, echoing chamber, much bigger than any you've been in so far. The air is thick with a scent of rot and something acrid as your eyes adjust to the sight before you. A monstrous spider corpse sprawled across the cavern floor like the ruins of a fallen colossus. Its legs, each the size of a fortress tower, curled inwards in a grotesque embrace of death, like the remnants of a tattered shroud. Beyond its decaying form, barely visible through the gaps in its massive frame, stands something far worse, a city, or what remains of one. Jagged spires, broken domes, and shadowed archways rise from the gloom, their dark stone whispering. Then, movement. A shape stirs within the gaping mouth of the dead spider, slow, deliberate. A skeletal hand, fingers elongated like talons, grip the edge of a jagged mandible. Then another. A figure draped in tattered, regal robes, black and violet, embroidered with a black raven, steps forth. His skin, or what remains of it, is drawn tight, his sharp, drow features underneath. And in the hollow voids of his eyes, a sickly green light flickers with cruel amusement. His voice slides through the cavern, not shouted but heard all the same, pressing into your thoughts like fingers against your skull. Arrogant little intruders. Did you truly believe you could tread into the depths of the world, disturb the dust of my kingdom, and stand against me? The air grows colder, heavy with the weight of something divine. You surface dwellers think yourself the inheritors of the world. You cling to your empires, your lords, your pathetic sunlit gods. But you forget. You forget what came before you. He turns, extending a skeletal hand towards the ruined city behind him. Alorith Nail, the city of queens, the cradle of our dominion. You think it dead? Aeloria will be dust before my kingdom is forgotten. A pulse of necrotic energy ripples outward from him, shaking the ground in the distance. Stone shifts, buildings tremble, the ruins awaken. He turns his gaze back to you, a cruel grin stretching across his withered face. Lolth has not abandoned us. She has only been waiting for the faithful return, for her kingdom to rise anew, and arise it shall. He raises his hand, and from the darkness, the dead stir. And around you, as you stand at the mouth of this spider and this skeletal figure, bones begin to rise out of the ground. And they surround you, standing there, unmoving. Can everyone please roll initiative for me?
Alright, well, we're all dead, lads.
Yeah, we're all fucked.
So we have Truyeg up first, and then it is Veldrin Zar's go.
I will start this off with a little bit. I'm gonna move forward like this, and I'm gonna do Earth Tremor.
So you're gonna hit these two big. So they both take 1d6 bludgeoning damage.
Yeah.
And are knocked prone.
Anything to slow them down.
So roll. I'll just roll the 1d6.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. Brutal.
1. So they both take 1 damage, but are both prone.
I will put Shield of Faith on Ricky Bobby.
It is now Veldrin Zar's go. He is going to move 30 feet up, so to that square there. He is going to cast.
Oh, nice.
Make the circles
Brilliant.
smaller. Make the circles smaller.
Fireball into the middle of you here. So let me just roll that quickly. I'll let you round down for the sake of this. But the rest of you all take 25 points of damage.
What the fucking hell?
I'm on 1 hit point.
if I didn't have fire resistance, I'm dead. Like I'm dead.
Boris, it's your go.
Okay.
Can someone just get on their knees and suck this bloke off? Fucking hell.
Well, okay. And that means my guardians come back out, so the tiefling, the woman, and the elf all reappear next to me. And I'm gonna run at him. I'm just gonna make an attack roll with my two-handed trident.
You better fucking make this shit.
You better crit.
His AC's probably through the roof. But... Ooh.
You hit.
Any person that Veldrin Zar attacks that is not me will be rolled with disadvantage.
Mm.
And if you do hit them, they take half damage.
Oh, go on, Boris.
So he takes 10 points of damage.
We will make an unarmored strike, and then the flurry of blows afterwards, and obviously whichever one hits first will get an extra D8 because of my
Yeah, so make your 3 attacks.
That's when he holy shit.
Question. I'm assuming that my D8 also doubles for a crit, doesn't it?
Yes, yeah. Your D8 will double on that as well, so you can roll an extra.
Monk is going to kill the boss in the first episode. This
16, 26 off the first attack.
26. Okay.
The first one.
We needed that.
We needed
And
that.
then I get 2 more.
Why is his aura not changed?
If that hits, yes, you hit.
The third one?
Doesn't hit.
I didn't think it would.
I'm going to move to.
Oh, sorry about that, boys.
It's all good.
Can I use Charm Person on this man?
You can certainly try.
So what do I do to try that?
It's a wisdom save of 10. I think he makes it.
I'm gonna have to use Cure Wounds on myself, or this will be the end of Truyeg.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I'll just hit it with a. So then I'll just hit myself with a little D8. Oh, we love that. Plus, here we go.
There you go. So you heal for 9 hit points.
Fucking hell, needed that.
Are you doing anything with your bonus action?
I know there probably is something, but I'm struggling to read through everything as I go. Oh, hang on. That can be done as a bonus action. That's pretty hilarious. This could be the most gnarly thing. I am going to, when you cast... Okay, so I think I can do this, right? I can cast... Oh, yeah, I can. Spiritual Weapon. Basically next to Mr. Veldrin.
I don't have a token for this. I'll have that by next session, but I'm just going to drag another one of you in.
Whoa.
Whoa.
And say it's there, and it'll act on your initiative next turn. It is Veldrinzar's go now, and he is going to... Let me just get his character sheet back up. Dimension Door to here, and then he's going to use Disrupt Life. So I'm going to need everyone, barring Truyeg, to make a DC 18 con save for me.
Gee whiz.
Me 20.
20.
Yep, I am dead.
What am I making a Constitution saving throw?
A Constitution save.
I'm unconscious.
Oh dear.
You take 20 points of damage, Ricky. Oh no, sorry, that's Boris. That's Boris.
It's not halved because it's just necrotic, isn't it?
It's necrotic, so that is not halved. So you take 10 points of damage, and I think you're still down anyway, Ricky.
That downs me.
Unlucky, Ricky.
Okay.
Right,
Speed
I'm
it
just
up.
gonna run reckless attack.
That hits. He takes 8 points of damage. Ricky, can you roll a death save for me?
That's a fail as well, so just mark one of the failures.
Okay, Truyeg.
Shit. I'm going to run over. Can I run over to Ricky Bobby and just get him up? Is that a thing? Can I like give him something, or do I have to healing word him or something? Fuck it. I'll do the healing word. Fucking I'll run over to him. And if I don't need to, it's healing word. Never mind. Pop that in the chat. There you go. And then we'll do. Oh yeah, no, it's at just level 1.
There you go. So you restore 6 hit points, Ricky.
Keeping you alive. That's all I got.
So it's his go again. He is going to cast Fireball in the middle, and that does hit all of you. He's going to do that again. Yeg, can you roll a dex save for me?
Oh, yep. Dex save. Bosh. Nope.
You are also down.
Oh, no.
And Yeg, you see the rest fall before you. As the last breath escapes your lips, a terrible stillness washes over you. The sounds of battle, the echoes of your companions' voices, the weight of your body, everything fades into the past, into a suffocating silence. Cold fingers creep through your limbs, numbing pain and sensation alike. Gravity no longer holds you. You're neither falling nor standing, neither here nor gone. A deep darkness unfolds around you, vast and endless, like the void between stars. For a fleeting moment you sense something. Regret, triumph, sorrow, peace. Whatever tethered you to life seems to flicker for a final time. Then the pull begins. It is not a hand nor a force you can name, but you were drawn down, weightless and powerless, through the murk of eternity. Voices whisper. Welcoming, warming you. From the blackness, you are pulled into a place that feels both distant and intimate, an otherworldly landscape, a utopia of sorts. In this strange land, the air hums with an uneasy energy. There before you appear 2 figures, cloaked in flowing garments of homely attire, Their faces partially obscured by masks and hoods. They are priests, each carrying sacred symbols of their gods, glistening amulets, polished staffs, holy relics. They stand in the middle of the landscape, but something about their presence feels wrong. The serenity of the green surroundings is undermined by an almost palpable tension in the air, calm before the storm. The two priests begin to converse, their words inaudible at first, but as you focus, you hear their voices. Soft whispers at the edges of your mind, drowned in a language too ancient and harsh for your understanding. They speak of power, of divine will, of destiny, a shared belief that their gods have chosen them, that they are the chosen ones, destined to carry out the will of the heavens. Then the moment fractures. Without warning, one of the priests, a man with piercing eyes, steps back with a violent lurch. His hands tremble as he grips his holy symbol, his expression one of raw fear and doubt. The other priest, with lips curled in an unsettling smile, raises a blade, a gleaming ceremonial dagger. It catches the light of the blue sky as he plunges it into the man's side. You watch in horror as the man stumbles backwards, blood spilling from the wound, his holy symbol clattering to the ground. His last words, screamed in agony, are a mixture of confusion and betrayal. We were supposed to bring peace, he gasps. But the attacker's expression hardens, his eyes no longer filled with compassion or faith. He steps forward, twisting the blade as the priest crumbles, before finishing the act with a brutal strike to his heart. His body hits the ground with a sickening thud, but the attacker stands tall, his face eerily calm. His eyes glazed over as if to say this was an inevitable, necessary act. As the vision begins to fade, the last thing you see is a small dwarven girl emerging from behind both the priests. The sun-shaped amulet around her neck covered in a thick, dark maroon blood, gushing from the slit across her throat. A cold, unfeeling expression across her face, her mouth whispering the final words, the words that cut to the very core of your soul. Peace is just a lie. Then all you see is darkness. Boris. Darkness. Thick, suffocating, endless. A faint sound echoed through the abyss, rain against old wooden beams, the distant roll of thunder like the growl of some unseen beast. Then a dim flicker of light, a single candle, its weak glow illuminating a cramped, rotting room. The smell of damp straw and old sweat clung to the air like a sickness. The walls were warped wood, cracked and moist, barely holding against the storm that raged outside. In the corner, curled like a wounded animal, was a half-orc boy, small, fragile, filthy. You watch your younger self, no older than 6, knees pulled to his chest and ribs visible beneath his shirt. His breath was ragged, quick, animalistic. Over him loomed a figure, her shadow twisted and jagged in the candlelight. Sister Meredith. Her face was hard, all angles and deep lines, her thin curled lips in something between anger and contempt. Her black hood draped over her, soaked from the rain that had fell earlier, contrasted with her ghostly white knuckles as she gripped the worn leather belt. Crack! The belt lashed across the boy's bare arms, leaving a welt already beginning to bloom red. Crack! Another across his legs. He flinched but did not cry out. He'd learned not to. You think you can steal from my desk? She hissed, breath heavy with the scent of cabbage. He didn't remember stealing anything. Didn't remember what he'd done to deserve this, if it even mattered. Crack! Ungrateful little wretch, you were left here to be saved. Thunder roared, shaking the very foundations of the orphanage. A bolt of lightning splits the sky, and suddenly the world shifts. Now Boris stood in the center of the room, older, taller, stronger. Blood painted the wooden walls in thick streaks. The stench of iron, sharp and unmistakable, fills your nostrils. And before your younger self, pinned against the rotting planks, was Sister Meredith. The jagged wooden plank jutted from her chest, driven straight through her heart. Blood runs down from the wound, soaking into the walls. Her mouth open and closing, weak, trembling, a soft, wet gurgle escaping from her lips. And then impossibly, she turns her head. Her dead eyes lock onto you, standing there watching. Her voice a broken whisper through the blood. Who could ever love a monster like you? Lightning flashes again, blinding. The floor beneath you vanishes. And you keep falling, down, down, back to the darkness. Ignatius. Your surroundings begin to fade into a swirling blur of light and shadow, the darkness slipping away through your fingers. Your breath catches, and suddenly the world around you transforms into something familiar, a place long buried beneath the weight of time, alcohol, and regret. You're standing in the grand hall of the Order of the Gilded Sun, the very place you once called home. Its high vaulted ceilings gleaming with golden light from massive stained glass windows and the radiant figure of a Maunator. The air is thick with the scent of incense and polished stone. The soft murmurs of fellow monks and acolytes fills the silence, but as you gaze around, something feels off. Yourself 10 years ago, still wearing the robes of the Order, moves through the hall like a shadow, unaware of the storm that is about to engulf him. You see it now, High Priestess Helion Hjulvorn, a woman whose power and influence always seemed unshakable, stands at the center of a gathering, her regal robes flowing like the sun's rays. Alongside her stands Verin Solomir, the very image of divine radiance, his presence exuding an aura of celestial authority. There is not a single blemish on his face, nor a scar or imperfection. He looks almost too perfect, as if sculpted rather than born. The room's filled with other priests and monks, their eyes downcast and whispers hushed. They know what is coming, and you in your younger form stand at the front of the assembly, heart full of faith. The whispers that once spoke of divine purpose now murmur of betrayal. The Order, which had once claimed of the highest ideals, protecting the light, spreading the warmth of a Maunator's truth, had been entangled in darker dealings. Its leaders caught in webs of influence and power, secret meetings, covert dealings that blurred the line between divine guidance and personal ambition. Then the words came, Helion Hjulvorn's voice, cold and biting as steel. Ignatius Cinderfist. Your chest tightens, every nerve screaming out with dread, yet the vision plays out in front of you, helpless to stop it. You are guilty of betrayal to this Order and to our God. You have allowed yourself to be deceived, and in doing so you have sullied the light we were sworn to protect. We can no longer tolerate your presence among us. A gasp ripples through the hall, but your younger self remains rooted to the spot, heart racing. Verin Solomir steps forward, his expression unwavering, lips curled in a cold smile, too harsh to bear. Helion raises her hand, and in that moment the monks and priests behind them close ranks, as if confirming her judgment. You are a liability, Ignatius, a weakness that endangers us all. The gods have no place for those who fail to see the truth. Leave now and never return. The words feel like a hammer striking against your soul, the weight of your faith crumbling to dust. You hear murmurs, the whispers of those who stood beside you, now silent, complicit in your expulsion. Your younger self's fists tighten, but you know not to fight back. To fight back is to challenge the Order, to condemn yourself. The sun no longer feels warm, distant, cold. Your spirit, once alight with the flame of a Maunator, flickers, faltering in the face of betrayal. And then one final blow. The High Priestess turns, dismissing you without another word, her robes swirling behind her. The door to the hall is thrown open, and in that moment you are nothing more than a broken shell, discarded by the very Order you once served with devotion. But before the vision ends, you hear her last words, faint but unmistakable. May the light of a Maunator never shine upon you again. The vision fades back to darkness, and your heart heavy with the memory of that day. Broken faith presses against you. Ricky! Bright golden light flashes out from the darkness. Tendrils of crimson red begin swirling out from its center, lashing out at its surrounding. As the light grows brighter, then begins to fade, you find yourself stood in the ivory keep of the royal palace, bathed in golden light, its towering pillars draped in banners of deep red and gold, the colours of the crimson cloaks. The finest soldiers in the realm stood in formation. You find yourself among the graduating redcaps, your crimson cloak folded neatly in your hands, fingers twitching. You glance down the line and see Darius Cade, your childhood friend, rival, standing tall, his posture perfect, same as it had always been. The ceremony had been fine, predictable, routine, until the king arrived. King Alar strode into the chamber, his presence like a weight pressing on your naive chest. His piercing gaze swept across the recruits before settling on Darius. You, the king said, his voice ringing with authority, Darius Cade. Your rival stepped forward and knelt, his head bowed. The air in the hall tightened. You have shown valor, strength, and wisdom beyond your years. Your deeds in training, your victories in the arena, your service to this kingdom has not gone unnoticed. You are destined for greatness. There was a murmur in the crowd, crimson cloaks nodding approvingly. You will not merely serve in the palace guard. No, your talents belong among the finest. As of this day, you are a named member of the Lion's Guard. Serve me well, and perhaps one day you may lead them. The applause was deafening. Your heart pounded, vision blurred at the edges. This wasn't how you'd imagined it to go. Darius rose, expression composed. One by one, the other recruits were called up, given their cloaks, with polite nods and brief handshakes. No roaring applause, no personal recognition, just another nameless soldier in the sea of red. And then it was your turn. You stepped forward, knees locked, head high. The commander barely looked at you as he draped the cloak over your shoulders. No speech, no honor, just a piece of cloth and an expectation to serve. You turn and your gaze meets Darius's. He gives you a small, knowing smile. One not of triumph, but of pity. Your hands clench beneath your cloak. You want to scream, to lash out, to rip that condescending look off his face, but you couldn't. Instead, you stood there, burning in your shame as the ceremony moved on without you. As your head falls, you feel yourself fall through the floor, dragged down by an unknown force into the darkness. Ricky Bobby. A strange warmth cradles you as your consciousness stirs, though it is no comforting embrace. It is dry, oppressive, heat without life. Your fingers twitch against the surface beneath you, rough and unyielding, the unmistakable texture of carved stone. Your body is heavy, sluggish, as if you've just emerged from the depths of some half-remembered nightmare. Your mind reels, searching for the last thing you can remember. Veldrinzar, the battle, the cold, suffocating grip of death, the feeling of slipping away like falling into a great abyss. But as your eyes flutter open, you're not met with darkness, not the endless void you expect. As you push yourself up, blinking against the intense reddish glow that saturates the air, you see them, Ignatius, Boris, Truyeg, their bodies sprawled lifelessly but conscious on the same stone-hard ground. Your heartbeat quickens as you scramble to your feet, dizzy and disorientated. Was it all a dream? A trick of the mind? Then you turn to see an edge. Do you look over it?
Yes.
The breath catches in your throat. The sky above, an unnatural shifting mass of swirling smoke and fire, casting a hellish red hue across the land. Great jagged mountains of blackened rock in the distance, their peaks wreathed in streams of molten fire that flow like veins. Below, rivers of blood and brimstone carve through the landscape, charred battlefields littered with the remnants of warriors, both celestial and damned. The air is thick with the stench of sulfur and burning flesh, and in the distance, massive war machines grind across the infernal plains. Their wheels churned up the scorched earth as hordes of devils march in endless formation. Below, stretching endlessly in all directions, is Avernus, the first layer of hell. Avernus is alive, not in the way the world of the living breathes and thrives, but in a way that feels wrong. The land writhes, shifting like something beneath its surface is struggling to be freed. Screams faint and distant, carried on a wind. Then from behind you, a voice, deep, resonant, a rumble like the growl of an approaching storm. Welcome home. The words coil around your spine like a vice. Do you turn?
Yeah.
Slowly, you turn. Seated upon a jagged, blackened throne of obsidian and bone, a towering devil watches you with eyes like molten gold. Its skin dark crimson, covered in flickering embers, as if barely containing the fire beneath. A massive flaming sword rests lazily in one clawed hand, its blade burning with an infernal glow that casts long shadows. Crouched down beside him is a small girl, her hands tightly gripping a wooden raven. The creature's lips curl into something between a smirk and a sneer, then it lifts its clawed hand and extends it towards you. Darkness crashes over you. The last thing you see before you return to unconsciousness is the devil's grin, sharp as a dagger, and the flickering flames that dance in its burning eyes. And that is where we're going to leave it today. Welcome, everyone, to The Hells Have Eyes.